and we're about to see what's going on this week to relieve stress, anxiety, to figure out what's happening with the elections. What are you going to do to prepare yourself, both mentally, emotionally, and physically? I've been saying this, or we have been saying this, Chris Witecki and I have been talking about this day for literally, we've been talking about this for 9 months straight. And here we are. And it's exactly what we said it would be like. Looking forward to seeing what's going on. Give us a bunch of likes. Your moon and your rising, if you have it, what your astrology is, and let's get started. Buckle up. It's going to be a good one. Looking forward to seeing what's happening. Man, whoa, whoa, Chris.
Hey, buddy. Looks like that palm is an extension of my hair.
That poem is an extension of your hair.
Move a little closer here. Let's get a little closer. Don't be
So,
shy.
so Chris, we have been talking about this for 9 months, and here we are.
Here
I
we
mean,
are,
literally,
dude.
9 months ago, if somebody used to go back to Astro Monday and look at it, we would be exactly where we are today.
Yeah, I mean, well, in what regards? There's so many dimensions.
Well, I mean, we've talked about where the economy was going to be, where people are going to be, where their states of minds are, what's going to be happening with relationships, what's going to be happening to people's bodies. We've been saying this. We've been saying this technically since 2019, but we've been specifically talking every Monday for the last 9 months about what's going to happen, and here we are.
Yes, here we are. Yes. Well, I mean, and where is it? Well, first of all, we are in the new timeline now. So I myself just went through a physical reboot. So everyone out there who's worried about me, I'm okay.
and,
I
and
do
by the
this
way,
every.
everybody's going to get it somehow. Like, there's nobody that escapes this. Everybody's going to have to go through some sort of transformation.
Well, your body's going to have to release
Yeah.
it. Like, I mean, that's what I went through. Um, Ironically, the last time I had this big of a release was when
When
Trump
I
was
did.
first when Trump was first elected
Oh,
in 2016. That was my last pneumonia
I thought you
that
were
I
going to
went
say
through.
the first time I touched you and you went in the hospital and almost died.
That was before that. That was even before. So if you guys have followed me for a while, you know that that's what I do. Every now and then, I have to reboot and rebuild myself from the ground up. And I did that, and I feel very good and very clear on who I am and my mission, and cleared out of my old karma stuff with myself. So I'm just sharing this because I think a lot of people are going to go through the same if you haven't already. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, it's a little windy here, but I'm liking it. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous here in Palm Springs today, just gorgeous.
So this is a good point. I mean, you happen to know probably more about anybody that I've ever met about what the conditions or the environment's going to be like. And people say this to me all the time, like if I'm in this spot, how come I go through these changes?
Well, the first thing you have to do is make it about you and not about what you see going on. So, you know, let's just remind people what this is really about, and this is what I've gotten to the core of. Right now, you are in heaven with me, and we are dreaming, and this is the dream that we're in together. So you're in a dream right now, and just like a dream, everything in the dream represents who you are and who you are to yourself and your perception to yourself. So what's about to happen is the world is about to adjust according to how people have adjusted on the inside. What's been happening since March, and really even before that, is that we've been facing a lot of our core issues with ourselves, where we have let ourselves down, have not loved ourselves, have blamed ourselves, have judged ourselves, have abandoned ourselves, and we have fallen under the myth that reality is more real than us. So we've fallen under the spell that reality is the dream is what's real. And what's real is who you are. So most people have been realizing who they really are since March. And then we started to become that new person in Virgo. And then in Libra, we started to relate to the new person. So we had to relate differently to who we were. We had to relate differently to everyone else. Okay. And then we had to relate differently to the world. Now the sun's in Scorpio. So now it's time to call the race. Where are you with yourself? Okay, there's a plane taking off here. I don't know if you guys hear that. I'm right by the airport.
No, we don't
Um,
hear it. We're good.
okay, good. I'm curious on what these do.
Yeah,
So,
they're doing really well.
perfect. So, so we're at step 11, step 12 um, today. So, step 11 yesterday well, from yesterday morning until yesterday afternoon was step 11, which is okay, this is where I am with myself. By the way, that's when I was released from the hospital. So, my timing is impeccable. Like, okay, here's where I am with myself. Now we take that new version of ourself and we start to say, okay, I now expect the dream to shift around this new version of myself. Okay. And for the next, this week, you're basically deciding, no, this is me, that's the dream. This is me, that's the dream. This is me, that's the dream. You're separating yourself from, you could say cutting yourself out of the old reality,
Mhm.
right? Now, for many people, this will involve a shock. You know, I think no matter what happens in the next 48 hours, it will be a shock for most people. Shock being like, holy shit, it was exactly what I thought it was, or holy shit, it's nothing what I thought it was. That's the shock.
Right.
Either the shock was I was totally right and knew it all along, or the shock was I was totally wrong and maybe knew it all along but didn't want to admit it. Okay. But either way, what you're seeing and how you're perceiving the world is pretty much at first you're projecting the old you onto the world. So you have to sit there and go, this is where you separate yourself from the world. Like, whoa, hold on. Um, you know, me having to have my favorite person as president was the old me. That's not the world I want to live in anymore. I don't want to live in a world where it matters about the economy. I don't want to live in a world, I don't want to live in these kind of worlds anymore because my new me doesn't want to live like
Right.
that. Right. And then what'll happen is that's your daily life this week. The following week, when we come back, it'll be your future. My future is going to be this because I'm living the new me in a new reality. And so my future must be different than what it has been. So Scorpio is the cutting out of the new you from the old world and transplanting you into your new world.
Right.
That's, the simplest way to put it.
So, um, like for me, I've had all kinds of. It seems like they set up like something's going to be a big problem, and then it comes up, and on the other end of that, something is a wild opportunity. And but it feels like something that should be a problem, and then when I open the door, it's an opportunity. That's what's been happening to me constantly lately, and even more so over the last couple of weeks, to a point where I don't even know how to explain it, and it's almost like too surreal. Now that would be because I've been going through this journey, and I'm at the point where a lot of my stuff's been worked out, and I just expect things to work out. Is that why?
You didn't expect things to work out in the
No,
past,
I
and
know
now they
I
are.
no I but I do. I expect them to work out.
Hmm. I guess I missed the question because I caught someone chatting. Say it one more time.
So everything everything is working out 100 times better than I feel like it should. Like
Yes.
I just had an opportunity to walk through the door minutes ago since I got off my live earlier, and it turned into this massive opportunity that's going to like catapult our whole business into a new area.
Hmm.
And it was like literally somebody I ran into an airport lounge last week coming back to Cancun, who just happened to be coming to Cancun, and it was right after a series of things in the day which felt like they felt like they were going to crush me.
Yeah. That's you between the worlds.
Right.
So, gonna crush you was the old world. Opportunity of a lifetime is the new world.
Right.
So that's the kind of separation you have to make every day, folks. You're gonna see a little bit of the old world, like Gary just said, where it's like, oh, this is this. I've seen this before. I know how this turns out. Um, that's the old world. And you go to yourself in your heart, does my heart resonate? Is that my future? Is that the life I want to live? No. And so it is, right? And I think you do have to close the door on the old world. In some cases, the new world doesn't open till you close the old one.
Yeah.
Like literally, God won't let you see the next door till you close the first one. Like you got to show God, the universe, the dream. You got to show the dream. I'm done with this part of the dream. The dream's like we're gonna keep playing this until you tell us it's done. It's your dream,
I feel that.
right?
Yeah.
So until you say the dream, no, I'm done with this. I don't want this anymore. Then the universe is like, oh great, because we have right here. Look at this. Check this out. You know, glad you said so. We were waiting for you to say that. You know, we as the collective.
Yeah.
So um, I myself happen to know this moment. I mean, I was blessed with the vision of this moment when I met you.
Hmm.
I don't know how many years ago was that now.
12.
Okay, Jupiter and
This is
Jupiter and
our,
Gemini. So
yeah, we recently had our Jupiter return.
yeah, so 12 years ago, I go, oh, I know where this is heading. I know it.
Hmm.
Um, it took Jupiter going around. Okay, you do? Well, believe, 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 believe. These are all the signs. Believe, 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 believe. 12 years later, it's like, okay, I believe. This is, and so it is, says the universe. So I think some people, depends on what you sign up for in heaven. Maybe you wanted a surprise at this point. So it'll be a wonderful surprise. I want to plan for it. So I want to know ahead of time. Plus, I'm a map reader and I have to tell people where we're going. But for me, I think the ignorance was how long it takes to render.
I think that would be a fair statement because if I was to go back 12 years ago, I thought you and I would be at this position. I would have seen this been more like 7 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, me too. So there was that, but that's okay because I always forget, and I don't think I live this long usually in lifetimes. So I usually get killed in battle or something. So part of it's like, oh, this is what's like aging. Shit. Oh shit. You know, there's a lot of like, huh, this is what they're all complaining about. There's been a lot of that. But it's pretty mystical and magical. I mean, I'm in a very magical place right now. Like very calm, very much in myself and my power.
So, so what it's, can't remember somebody else listened to who was channeling and I just resonated with them. Not enough to actually even save it other than just listen to it for what it was. And what she was saying is that time is sped up. And she was saying that basically 2024, it was done. It was done like 2 weeks ago. And she was saying if you should wrap up 2024, recognize what you want, what you did, what you don't do, and then set your 2025, which she said can be done by June. And what my experience is that we said in 2024 we're going to go out and see the world, and all of a sudden a couple weeks ago we're like, I think it's over. I think seeing the world in that way was over, and that's why we pulled out of the tour, and and then we started rebalancing, collecting, and then pulling our energies together and say, where do we go next? Which we're currently in the state of doing. And this is what we would normally do at the end of the year as we go into next year. So it's like we're ahead of schedule. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, whoever that person was, because technically New Year's is Scorpio zero. So that's New Year's. That is the new year. That's where the date line should be, but
Yeah.
isn't. Shouldn't be in Capricorn. Should be here. So it is the new year. It does take 6 months to implement the year. So end of May, June, Gemini would be absolutely it.
Yeah.
Hmm. And ahead of things, I don't know. I mean, my creation is ahead of things always.
Yeah.
So what I'm
This-
creating is always way ahead. Like I told my team a few days ago or a week ago, I'm like, I apologize because I keep telling them what I'm creating, and they thought that meant tomorrow, and they're all like, "Fuck, you're moving too fast." And I was like, "Oh no, in 6 to 9 months we'll see this.
yeah.
You know, we're not. I'm telling you now, so you have lots of time to adjust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that. So in that way, I'm very ahead. Yes. But in
So
some ways, I've never been more plugged into the moment than I have
yeah,
now.
I mean, I could also say that it's like all of our energies, all the opportunities and energies are where we're going next year, year after. Like we're stepping into a new world. It is a clear division. Like like there is a whole set of old activities that are still there, old manifestations, and sometimes problems in the old world. They're like, and it's like, but it doesn't fit where I am or we are today.
No, none of my old world fits. Part of my issue I'm having is that with my team and even some of my followers is they're still seeing me in the old world.
Yeah.
And, even with this breakdown, they're like, it's the old world again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's actually the end of the old world, but I can see from your perspective where you'd be afraid it's more of the old same, so that's, and I just keep saying to them, I like to show, not tell. So just watch.
So so let's transition into what this week is coming because today is we're in step 12 and it feels like the arrow is piercing through a veil, and tomorrow's the election, which has got to be the craziest thing to have it on step 13.
Today's perfect. Um, Today's actually Galactic Love Fest Day because Venus is on the galactic center. So it's Galactic Love Fest Day. This is the most loving day of the entire year for the galaxy.
Wow.
So this is a rebirth of the Milky Way. And this is a rebirth of the story of the Milky Way. And the story of the Milky Way is pretty profound. And that's somewhere where you'll see us going in Series Story next is talking more Milky Way and not so much always Earth.
Right.
Because the Earth is only one piece of the Milky Way,
Right.
the blue gem of the Milky Way. So today's step 12, which means today we start the new story. Today we start the new story in our life. And the new story is okay, now that I'm good with myself, let me look around my life and see where my life is out of sync with me, right? And so tomorrow, step 13 is revolution. And revolution is where my heart believes it should go. My heart believes it should go, right? And figuring out what side you belong on, right? So now people think they belong on Harris or Trump's side,
Yeah.
but that's the myth. The side is when Harris or Trump wins tomorrow, are you on the side of you or are you on the side of the dream having more power over you? What side are you on?
Right.
That's really the revolution. Some people, whether you get your candidate choice or you don't, the victory is whether or not you decide you're on your side or not. If you say, I'm doomed, I've got to leave the country, you're not on your you're not on your side.
Right.
You're not rooting for you. You're saying, oh, the dream's more powerful than me, the creator of the dream. And so therefore I will live under the power of the dream instead of as the creator of the dream.
Yeah.
Right? That's the revolution on 13. And it will not be decided for days. I'll tell you that right
Yeah.
now.
I felt like my guess was it's going to be like kind of around the 18th.
Look at the 18th. Well, there's a full moon on this on Friday the 15th. So there's some sort of reality check there. The 18th is step 26. I mean, that's a Monday. I would say that's a fair bet. Mercury opposes Jupiter at 18 degrees on the 18th.
Yeah.
Moon's in Cancer, which means people have to face a lot of emotional issues. The Sun trines Neptune, which means fate has unfolded. I would say that's a very good guess, Gary. I would say, let's put that down in my books here. Gary guesses will know on the 18th.
Yeah. I feel that I mean, it doesn't matter. You could have 90 to 10. And whatever side you want. But the reality is, the media, the arguing, we have to do this. This wasn't done right. All that, it has to happen in order for this game that's been going on to continue. We need to keep people at this peak of stress.
Scott says it won't be decided until January. Uh, well, Scott, there is the legal follow through and there's the actual reality. So, what do you mean?
Scott's a Grandmaster Capricorn too.
Okay, he would be one to know. Um,
Yeah,
He'd be one to know,
I
but I
just
want to
feel
know the
that.
distinction. I want to know the distinction. Like, there's a distinction. There's like knowing inside, and there's knowing as in, you know, taking the oath.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's like a lot of things. Like January 15th, 2020, I closed my practice. As you know, you helped me navigate that. Leave the country, knowing that something was going to come. Well, I didn't really know until March that that date was the date that was significant because it came and went. And I'm like, maybe I was wrong. And then come March, and I found out that that was the first reported COVID case. I'm like, I was right.
Yeah, yeah. When you felt something. Well, when you feel disturbance in the force, you don't always know what it is. Even Yoda was confused. Disturbance in the force. I feel. Like he couldn't tell you what it was either.
Hey, Michelle Camper, Trump is a 22-degree Gemini as well. She's a 22, so she's putting herself in
I
Trump
know.
category.
Yeah, she should be careful about those kind of proclamations right now.
Okay, so
Inauguration
we,
day, he means legally. That may be
yeah,
if it plays out. I mean, I would say the astrology would say my team and I just finished up right before inauguration in our analysis, and I'll just skip ahead and say that it does look like the 19th is one hell of a fucking day.
19th of
His inauguration on
this month.
of January.
Yeah, well,
January
January 19th.
19th is one hell of a day. The day
Yeah.
the sun goes into Aquarius.
Uh,
Oh,
uh,
he's a 22 Gemini North Node. Ah,
uh,
this is a lot, Scott.
now you get it. He's Grandmaster.
Trump. Oh, Harris shows a paper to steal it. I don't know. That's interesting. All those little plot points are interesting.
They're just plot points at the end of it. Here's what I want people to know. From my background, working at that level, it doesn't matter right or left. They're just different wardens. You're picking that you're picking a warden A or warden B, but at the end of it, they're just different wardens. At the end of it, they don't run anything anyways. The corporations run America, and they always have, and that's why you get you get um, um, Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, closing out half his positions into cash over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I think there's ways of this if you want my deep opinion on
Yes,
this. Um, I do feel that the candidates are special players to play a special role at this time period. So
fair, sure.
I think they're very special. They're both heaven sent. I think Harris and Trump are both heaven sent. I both think that they signed up in heaven for this moment to play the roles they're going to play. I think
Fair
each of them
statement.
have, I think each of them have played the other roles prior. So for the record, they've each played the prior role and passed. I don't think you need to play at that level unless you've already been there once and this is like your second go round. You know what I mean?
I feel that to be accurate. Like I noticed that with all the people that I see that are making changes in the world.
Um, I feel like phase one is the right person in charge, and that right person may be the wrong person, so the people get pissed, or that person may be the right person that just drives it home. I'm not sure. But phase two is the real plague on our country, which is that the Constitution did not speak to a corporation
Right.
and limit corporate powers. Corporations were not limited corporate powers.
Yeah.
At some point, the United States became a corporation, which is even more
Yeah.
darkness and grime. There's a lot for people to
Yeah.
understand.
Agreed.
So
I
I feel
totally agree.
like I'm liking what Robert F. Kennedy's coming out saying about what he's going to do if Trump wins and he's appointed. Just saying. I'm not saying anything, but I like Robert F. Kennedy, where he's like saying, no more pharmaceutical commercials on television. Yeah, that's a huge. I'm all for it. RFK, yes, no more pharmaceutical commercials on television, just like the rest of the whole world has already decided. So I that is anti-corporate right there.
Yeah.
So I think RFK, who is a Grandmaster 26-degree Capricorn, also um, Scott, you have the same birthday as RFK, whose Sun conjunct star Pluto at 27 degrees United States. I actually think he's going to be one way or another fighting that corporate infiltration that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
So
So this week,
yeah, yeah. So
what?
like so basically it's interesting the election comes on a breakthrough day. You have to choose where you belong. It's asking everybody to choose where they belong. Comes towards the end of tomorrow end of day tomorrow. We actually move into from 13 to 14. So we actually move into Gemini. And what does that look like?
I think with your Jupiter and Gemini, that's an uh-oh moment. That's when the mind goes into a frenzy. I think the mind will go into a frenzy at 14. That's where you have to say, am I going to believe what I'm being told? Um, am I going to be, um, am I going to be anywhere, you know, um, am I going to let my mind listen to the news? Am I going to let my mind listen to all this stuff? Or am I going to go with what my heart really feels is true? So that's really a day where you take back power from your mind or you don't
Right.
this week.
So that's Wednesday, and then Thursday, um, we are gonna. There's got to
15,
be some
16.
sort of weird balance come back in.
Yeah, the moon's in Capricorn, by the way, during those days, like the moon, let's see, is the moon in Capricorn now? No, it starts to Capricorn tomorrow at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So moon's in Capricorn, so we're sort of like deciding how we feel, deciding how we feel, deciding how we feel. And then on 15, the moon goes into Aquarius in the afternoon, where we have to go, okay, I'm either going to go with my heart or not. That's 15. And then 15 is if I go with my heart, 16, what does that mean for my soul? What does that mean for my story as a result? Right? So, well, if I go with my heart, now if I go with my heart, this is the greatest moment in the fucking history of the entire world.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
where my
it
heart is.
really
This
is.
is the greatest moment. I'm talking about a guy who rode Atlantis down into the ocean, who rode the Dark Ages, who rode with the Knights Templar, who rode with kings, who rode. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, thank God we're finally turning the leaf. Thank God.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel that. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
That's
I
what I
was like,
feel.
I was. People were like, I'm stressed out, and I'm like, are you kidding, man? This is the best time in the history of humanity to be alive. We get to see the world go through a transition. We get to see monarchies and powers change structure. We get to see
Yep.
people rise, equality, fairness, and technology all at the same time. And it's all happening in this next 10 years. It's just going to be like, boom. It's going to be like the last 20,000 years in 10 years.
Yeah, it is. It is the most important moment in the last 20,000 years. It
Yeah.
really is. 20,000. I'm not kidding. Because Atlantis fell 26,000 years ago. Like, it's not 12, it's a long time ago. 26, from what I understand, about 26,000. Well,
So,
that's when
so
it started. It fell probably about 14 or 15,000 actually years ago.
So then we go into Friday and then coming into the weekend. So because it just seems like everybody's all stressed up, but nobody's going to get any relief tomorrow. And
Oh
Wednesday they're
no.
not going to get any relief. Thursday they're going to start to have something that because with all this energy built up, they have to have it come out in their body or their lives somehow. So something's going to come based on the energy people put out. If they're in fear or anger, if they're in shame or guilt, or if they're fighting, on Thursday, something in the universe is going to go, hey, time to balance off. And then Friday,
Well, the only balance on Thursday you won't get relief from the world.
no,
You're not going to get relief from the world for a long time. according to our Grandmaster Capricorn, not till inauguration. Um, so get rid of that idea. The whole point is either you run the show or you don't. If you run the show, you'll have relief on Thursday night because you'll realize it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if, let's just say, it doesn't matter if my worst fears come true and Trump's a dictator. He takes away all of our rights and we're put into FEMA camps and we're forced to eat oatmeal and, Trumpios cereal every morning. I still will be the one that gets away with it. I still will be the one that doesn't have to do that. I still will not be affected by
Yeah,
that because I am me and I'm in control of my reality.
yeah,
So, that's the hump right there. The extreme of the outer world is to make it so hot and so boiling that you make a choice. Either you are stuck on a ride you can't get off on, or you're asleep in heaven right now and this is a dream. Which is it?
yeah. Yeah, when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, and I think that's what's happening for a lot of people, is that they're coming. I've noticed that people are coming to pain points, and you know, I notice it when it comes to their emotional or their physical pain point, because that's when they start reaching out and calling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it has to hurt so bad that you finally move off your ass. That's true.
So what? So what? Then what does a weekend look like?
The weekend
By the
is when
way,
you did.
I have whole fit on here. We're doing an event in Miami on the weekend on the 9th. And it's the biggest content creator health and wellness biohacking event, and we're for the first time ever doing performance fascial maneuvers in the morning. So that's where we're going to be on Thursday, or sorry, on Saturday.
Nice. On Saturday, I'll just plug my own Pluto's Last Stand webinar where I'll be teaching people how to graduate their Pluto 29-degree Capricorn event at senseichristopher.com.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a webinar then. But I will tune into what you're doing. And is that what you asked me to be a part of?
Uh,
Or you have something else?
yes. Yeah, that and something else. There's a couple of things going on. I got to talk to you offline. I mean,
Okay.
dude, I'm
If
talking about
so, I'll
jackpot of
make it.
opportunities have come in the last 3 weeks.
We got to
I don't
talk then,
even
buddy.
I don't even know how to like it. We're getting our shot. We are going to be on the 6th recording, aired on the 8th, doing fashion maneuvers as a stress and anxiety and trauma relief for the state of Florida. 30 million people are going to see it.
Wow. Love it. Although I think, well, I'll be quiet.
Yeah, and then we're doing another one for Asheville, North Carolina. We expect 60 million
Ooh,
people to do.
hurricane. Asheville's hit
Mhm.
hard. I have a good
Yeah.
friend there named Kristen. They have been, their community was really hit hard by that hurricane, man. Supplies kept from coming in, food kept from coming in. Huge deposits underneath those mountains that Elon Musk has the
Crystal and
rights to
lithium.
suddenly.
Crystal and lithium.
Yeah, and apparently Elon Musk has the rights to that now. So
Yeah, and there's
there's a lot of darkness
also
that's swooped in there.
Jasper, Canada. Crystal and lithium burned down.
Hmm.
And Wyoming's on fire too. Crystal and
Why
lithium.
is on fire? So anything on fire, folks, check the mineral deposits. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah,
Anything on
no,
fire,
absolutely
if
100%.
anything's on fire, check the mineral deposits underneath. I
Yeah.
don't know what was in Hawaii.
Hey, we're gonna find out.
We
So
are.
yeah, so anyways, we've got that happening. We're recording on the 6th. I'm leaving tomorrow. Recording on the 6th, and then I'm also tomorrow night in St. Pete, Florida. We're doing a trauma relief class. It's just outside of Tampa. It's free of charge to anybody. It's by donation. And we're doing that just to add all the proceeds are going to go to help people in local communities. It's people that are affected right in Tampa. And and then we've got the wellness weekend with Whole Fit. I just pinned it there. You can go to our website and check it out right now. And that wellness weekend is so it's on the 9th. It's a big event coming up. And then I'm heading off to LA. I'll tell you about that one later. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say anything here, but there's something big happening.
On when?
I'm leaving for LA on Monday, and
What date?
um, the 11th I'm leaving. Going to be there 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th.
We'll be there on the
Just
full
put it this way:
moon.
I'm meeting the head of a major studio.
There's good studios?
No, but there's good people.
Okay. Okay. I'll be with you.
Let's say that the world is becoming very interested in authentic content.
I'm sure they will because they're losing money like left and right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. At some point, they'll realize that darkness is a is a market. Let's put it this way: extinctionism is a market that will always shrink.
so so
It's not a
uh
growing market.
so that's kind of what's happening this week. So what would the weekend feel like? What's Saturday and Sunday going to feel like?
I think very empowering for those people who are living, knowing they're the creators of their reality. I think for people who have decided their reality is determined by other creators, it is an imprisonment and a darkness and a tunnel that goes deeper. So we're at a split now.
Yeah, this is the time, right?
So
It's like
so what that means is like every time you ask me what it's going to be like, I'm going to tell you like A and B, like the two different paths, right?
yeah,
The B path is just going to slip into darkness, okay? Like, and that darkness goes all through Christmas, all through January, probably till inauguration. So there's just deep darkness for those people who have been blaming the world for their shadow.
right.
So you've been blaming the world for your shadow. I'm sorry, you've got a really hard time. But I will say this: Serious Joy is here for you. Human Garage is here for you. It's not about being right or wrong. There's just a way it works and there's a way it doesn't,
Yeah.
right? So we'll help anyone who's like falling in that abyss. That's why I built my whole platform is for you in this moment. You know, the people who watch me now were meant to lead. I would say,
Mhm. Yeah.
like the real customer base that I set this whole circus up for is on the other end of this darkness.
Yeah, that was our whole thing is that we're going through this wall. What we're doing is leaving behind the instructions on how to move through it because I don't even feel that I'm feeling less and less connected to the people that I would have talked to 3 years ago who are still caught in that. It's to the point where I don't, not in a bad way. I don't see them or I can't interact with them because they're still caught in this loop. And so we left, just like you did with Serious Joy, we left step by step instructions on how to work your way through it. So it doesn't matter where somebody is. It's just if you're not already on the side of the world is moving in the right direction and you're moving in the right direction and you're cleaning up your life, like you said, it's gonna be really dark for a period of time, but you'll find your way through.
You will. Most of you are meant to. Some of you will decide to die and come back when it's easier because you don't have like you haven't been a soldier enough lifetimes to soldier on through the hard times. That's okay. Um, but most people were meant to go through this journey, and you don't understand. Like, there's only a couple of species out there in the universe that have had this experience. The Syrians from the Sirius Joy, they went to total darkness and brought themselves back up again.
Mhm.
The Palladians never did.
Right.
So it's a choice to go so dark and come back. And so to see the polarities of God, you know, godless to God Almighty.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so those who are here, you know, maybe you haven't hit your darkest moment where it's completely godless. And so you will between now and February, if you
Right.
haven't. Like where it's just like no hope, no God, nothing. Like God doesn't love me. And the truth is like, no, you don't love you,
Yeah.
you know, because you are God. So if you say God doesn't love you, you say you don't love you, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. For the rest of us who went through this already, my whole team is focusing on what we call Joy Garden, which is the very beginning of where this all starts. So we're going back to the very beginning of 12. I'm taking my whole company back to where it was 12 years ago when I met you, because we just paved out the next 12 years, like together. And
Yeah.
so we're going to start with Joy Gardeners. I've got a new Joy Garden principal named Gwen, who's going to watch over the Joy Gardeners. The goal the first 3 years of Joy Garden is to find your joy. That's it. Just
Mhm.
find your joy. Um, and that's where people are going to be. Oh, excuse me. That's my pneumonia coming back. Coughing it up. You can see what I went through. But long story short, the rest of us who went through this already, now we go build the new world.
Yeah, I feel that I feel that like for me, I started with serious joy 7 years ago, right? Listening, getting messages every day, listening and changing my way that I saw the world. Like it was like for me, one of the steps was I no longer want to live by a calendar. I want to live by a step day. So I know the
Yeah.
step day. I have no idea what the day of the week. Like I intersect with the days of the month, but basically I don't know. Like today, I don't know. It's I know that I'm gonna be. I know that I have a mark. I know that a Wednesday is a six. That's all I know. So
Right.
then the next part of it was for me was you talk about Joy Garden. It took me years of detoxing to go through and to get to the point where I could find who I wanted to be. And that started in 2019 when I knew that I wanted to be this new person and go in this new direction, but I had all this old life that I had to move through. And what took me like in this last couple of years, it's like now I really know who me is, or I have the next direction of where I'm going.
Yeah.
But that 7 years, I don't think is going to take people now because time's accelerated. It's going to take them 1 to 2 years to do what we did in seven or
Maybe.
three.
Maybe. I don't know. That'll be interesting to watch. I think it's relative to the story. In some cases they knew all along, so they're just coming out of their own bullshit. So it happens very fast. But if you didn't know, if you haven't done this in a past life, if you just lived like having sex and eating fruit, and you really haven't explored these deeper things, I think it'll take 7 years. You know what I mean? Someone someone says stuff Mary does. She goes, I believe in Creator God. So in what sense are we God? You're God's daughters. You're God's daughter, which makes
Stuff Mary
you
does
God.
is a Capricorn.
Uh, yeah. So Capricorns have a hard time putting themselves on the same level of God, even though they really want to.
Mary, you're awesome. But I think that's been for me that's been a lot of my journey is who is God. Because I searched. I went to the top spiritual leaders. I became their friends. I worked on their bodies. I learned what they learned. I learned their version of what God was. And I grew up in a Christian household. And I I at this stage of my life, it's the way that there is the only God that makes sense is the one that you choose because whatever you make into God is your God. And that's the way I feel like and for me I'm just at a completely different scope. Like um you're the way it's my connection to who I am because how can I be separate from that which I was created?
Agreed. Yeah, we are the latest and greatest version of God. So I feel like God is creation, for lack of a better term. And so God has created and 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 created, created. And like humans actually, from what I understand from the Palladians and from the Syrians, talking to them, is that we're actually the latest model.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Humans
exactly the
are
way I
the
feel. Yeah.
humans are the latest model,
Yeah.
the latest and greatest God has ever created. We're the only model that has creation. So what the Palladians told me was, uh, other species don't law of attract. They
Yeah.
don't have law of attraction. They don't
Yeah.
have creation. Their world doesn't form around them to meet their dreams. That's unique. That's why all these different aliens want to own us.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
there's some stuff. There's some stuff that I see in the physical realm of people that is not explainable in current language, current technology, and you know the. I mean, here's something so basic and so simple. You have 50, we there's very little that we know about the human body. We think we know, we don't. We have 50 trillion cells. Every cell is a complete universe. It has its own creation, production, waste management, brain. And all 50 trillion of those cells are completely autonomous and decide to get together and beat to a central narrative, which is the narrative we create. There's a negative and a
Well, that
positive
narrative, that
charge.
narrative is the first narrative is like an organ, isn't it? And then that narrative is like a body.
Yeah,
Like there's narrative upon narrative upon narrative, right? Just to
right.
interject.
Yeah, exactly. And the cell has a negative and positive charge, and each cell has a charge that's measurable by science at 1.4 volts. So
Okay.
so six skin cells that you could not even see on the tip of a pen is equivalent to a 9-volt battery. And we have 50 trillion cells. That gives us 700 trillion volts of electricity, which is the same electricity as 30 suns. And this is a definable, measurable, scientific measurement that we are just not looking at. And if we look at that and say, well, we're 30 of those big balls in the sky out there that's keeping us warm and keeping us alive, then that must mean that we have a lot of power. So the question is, why are we not using it? And when did we stop using it, or did we use it before? Are we coming into it? You know, and even furthermore, we everything that functions in a human being that makes us work, every thought, every blinking, every motion, every movement in a human existence is a protein acting. And we have 5 quintillion proteins, and we've only identified 5,000 of them scientifically. We don't know shit. We literally know less than shit. We know less about the human existence than gum on the bottom of your shoe.
I know. Yeah. Well, we've had people come in and who lied to us.
Right. They
And
told us this is how it is.
right, and we had, and those sometimes are aliens. I mean, a lot of times those are aliens. I mean, I'm really getting galactic now. I'm not a big UFO guy or whatever, but some aliens told us we have God power. Some aliens told us, no, you don't. Bow down. Do what I tell you to do. And so eventually the do what I tell you to do people took over. And we've been under religion is like one belief structure. Now science is the next false belief structure. Science is the next false religion.
Yeah.
I believe in science, I do, but I think science is the measurement of magic. I don't think science is the measurement of absolute.
Yeah, I mean that's the other one too. When you come to the human body, when you this was what stunned me for so many years, Chris. It's like, okay, how does that work? Oh, okay. Well, how does that work? Okay, well, but why does that work? But the third level of questioning why in the human body, literally, out of hundreds of thousands of questions asked scientists and doctors of the best in the human body, it comes down to a single statement. That's just how the body is.
Right. I don't know. It's like a dog going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Well,
and what
that's
I, what,
that's where the Rockefellers stopped telling us bullshit. Like that's as far as the Rockefeller line goes.
yeah, and this is where like here's some cool parts is that human body heals itself. It creates its own energy, it creates its own pulse. We feed off sunlight and oxygen, and water is the transmuter that makes it all happen. And that's a pretty cool thing. So there's no drug, there's no food, there's no supplement, there's no medication or surgery that heals us. The body heals itself. And still to date, the reason why, why we can go to prison for claiming a cure in the human body? You know why that is? Because it is scientifically true that the body cures itself. That's the mechanism that they use to say you can't claim a cure. Because you can't, because the body heals itself. If I say I did it, then I'm taking over. That's an untrue statement.
hmm I see that. And I see
Yeah,
why you go to jail for it too.
yeah, yeah. It's a slippery slope, and this is where I'm at. And I'm like, I
It
don't
was a
even,
slippery slope.
yeah, and I don't even care anymore. I just want to go out and see the world now. Like for me, it's just like, what else don't I know, and how can I find it out, and how can I have this experience, and where do I have to go to get the next experience? That's what I'm doing.
Hmm. I'm about to put on a show. That's what I'm going to do. You're going to see the
Yeah,
curtains draw, and you're going to see coming soon. So I'm not going to see the world just yet, but I'm going to put on a show. That's my next thing.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Effectively, it's like
Okay. Well, I figure you're going to be out there in the world actually seeing
I'm doing
things.
both of those, but the content thing, the um I sent it to you. I haven't seen it yet. Behind the reel. Oof. I'll send it over
Yeah, I
to
love that
you.
title.
Yeah,
Oh,
behind the reel. You gotta go check it
yeah.
out. It's our subscription service. All the stuff we can't put on. Like I'm getting busted right now for talking about certain elements. DE is the acronym. What it has an element that's important that we're made out of, and every time I mention it, they poke me right now. But there's so many things that we can't say, so we've got all that stuff now going behind a subscription reel and a wall, and you will be shocked at some of the stuff that comes out of there.
I can't wait. Is it done
Yeah,
behind the
it's
reel?
up and running. It'll be I don't you can get it through your phones and stuff like that right now. Go to our website. I'll send you the link. Go to our website. Go to our social media and our link tree, and you can find behind the reel. It'll be available on Apple, Roku, and stuff like that in about 4 weeks. On Amazon streaming, stuff like that.
On your birthday, it'll be available?
Yeah, actually,
That's good.
that's funny. I think that's when it's going to be available.
That feels right. That'll be your thesis. Your 29 thesis. You're turning
Bingo.
in you're turning in your grandmaster thesis statement. Yeah, that's cool.
Somebody
That's
asked
cool.
if it, somebody asked if it can come through the app. It's actually on mainstream TV. We're going to mainstream TV, is what it is. We're getting our ride. We're getting our time. We're getting our 15 minutes.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
He's going to open up the conversation for debate.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's at the what I feel, Chris, is that the world is basically at the end of it. The people who are the mechanisms of communication or control, eh, I mean, there's ones that want it for control, but those that are there for business, and the ones that are there for business, when that's what the audience wants to see, that's what they're going to do.
Well, yeah, eventually we'll take over everything. I
Yeah,
say we as in the
yeah,
light. That's what the dark does anyways. I mean, like, dark porn and trafficking built the internet, and now we're taking it over. You
yeah.
know,
I mean, the
darkness built
history of tech,
Hollywood.
the
Yeah.
history of technology. This is what people don't realize. I mean, I've been in technology since the early days.
Mhm.
Is pagers and wireless phones were drug dealers and CEOs.
Yeah.
And
Same
the
thing.
internet was all porn and child sex trafficking when it started,
Yeah.
and dark web, and then it came on, and every technology that we use today that is supposedly to generate the light or to do this it was financed by the dark.
Yes. And taken over by the light. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to do that hard work anyways. I'm grateful for it.
So by Monday, so Monday is going to be,
Step 19. Well,
and
again, what happens is like pretty much let's do like a kind of a bigger deep dive. So, um, you know, Monday you manifest the new. So if you decide you're going to go down a dark rabbit hole and see how dark this gets, that manifests on Monday. If you decided you've been saved by yourself, that manifests on Monday. Then we just keep going down those lines to a full moon on Friday when you're in LA, and that's when you sort of accept the new program. And so um, from that point on, we continue into we continue with the rest of Scorpio where we kind of tie off all those things. And then when the sun moves into Sag, the new story writes. And Mars will retrograde. Let's see. Mercury will station retrograde on the 25th, and Mars will station retrograde on December 6th. And so what happens then is deep rabbit hole for whatever you chose.
right,
Deep, deep, deep rabbit hole. And while Mercury and Mars are retrograde, the Earth stops. So, for a set change,
Hmm.
like the curtains come and they're like changing the set in the background, and that
What do you
that
think
set
that what do you think that would feel like if you're moving down the dark path? What might that feel like?
that's a descent into your own hell. You know, um, seeing just how dark, seeing all the shadow in yourself. Because what happens is Mars is our ego and Mercury is our mind. We're basically ego mind driven society. So God's like, nope, you can't play with those anymore.
Hmm.
Okay, so for those who've been escaping through the mind, playing video games and watching porn, oh, sorry, that doesn't work anymore. For those who've been escaping through stock market or I'm going to show you, I'm going to make more money, I'm going to race ahead. Oh, sorry, that goes away too. What are you left with? Yourself, right? For those who did the work, we're like, ooh, this feels good. I'm
Yeah.
glad to be
So
with
yeah,
myself.
for those who've done the work, is it if I can just project what's already happening, it just feels like I'm being accelerated through it like out of a slingshot in a good way.
Yeah, for me, it's like I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. So I think for those who are leaders of the new age,
Hmm.
Mars retrograde and Mercury retrograde is major ramp up.
Yeah, feels like
My team is gonna be like our team is gonna be like launching stuff like left and right, like preparing all kinds of things, getting the show ready, just getting everything ready for what? The people who are hurting so bad by March that they'll try anything.
yeah, yeah, that's what it feels like.
And when they're trying anything, they'll be like, come on in. We've been waiting for you. It's okay. We love you. You'll be
So
okay.
so 12 years ago, um, it was about 12 years ago we sat down, we talked about this.
Hmm.
Did you think it was gonna feel like this?
No, because um, I didn't realize how much I was working against myself.
Hmm.
I didn't realize how much I was the problem. Like
Yeah.
it turns out, I thought my relief would be, see, the world went the way I said it was, and the relief is, oh, I'm who I thought I was. So it's a different relief. It's like,
Well, yeah.
ah, I am cool as shit. Cool.
Yeah,
Versus
I resonate with that.
where
Yeah,
I used to think it was like, see, I told you. Like, I thought it would be like, see, I told you. And
yeah,
now it's like, ah, I didn't need to tell him anything.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, I just wanted to be okay with me. That's
yeah,
all I wanted was to be okay with me.
yeah.
I thought I had to prove to the world to be okay with me. And now I don't have to prove the world to be okay with me. I'm okay with me. If you guys aren't cool, see you in heaven. Like, we'll talk about it at the coffee bar where Buddha is the
Yeah,
barista.
I feel that. I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel really good. I think from this point for me, it just glides.
Hmm.
Like, I think for me, it just glides. It's just one day it glides into another. It's very dreamlike. I'll tell you, it's been kind of psychedelic
It's
for me.
been psychedelic.
I
Yes.
mean, I'm remembering times of tripping and on mushrooms and stuff in my 20s. I'm like, I'm seeing like, you know, reality just kind of like just, shorting in and out and
Mm.
people like in the Matrix, like, like, so there's this like kind of, now it's a trip. Now it's a trip. Now it's like a lazy river trip for me.
Yeah, feels like that. So everybody in the comments, either in the comment or hit a heart if you're feeling this. This is what you're feeling. Let's close it off. I've been playing with my love tuner today. I've been,
Oh, cool.
yeah, I mean, I of course, I believe in frequency. I just didn't know how impactful this little thing was going to be. So, I'm gonna bring us in, and then we're gonna do a head to heart, bringing our heads and our heart together. So I'll start it off. 528. Put right hand on our heart, left hand on our head. Breathe in through your mouth. 2, 3. I'm excited to be on this journey.
I'm excited. I'm on this journey.
I'm excited to follow my heart.
I'm excited I follow my heart.
Through the nose. 2, 3. Oh, buddy, I don't know if could have anything more powerful than this be the 12-year anniversary of us getting together.
Yeah, it's beautiful, brother. Look forward to seeing you in person again.
See you soon. Love you.